So here it is, the intercooler done, turbo done. How's this truck running? Freaking awesome, boy. I mean, it pulls the hills, it has the power. I before would have to downshift to try to pull some of these steep hills. Now I'm actually upshifting on one. Unbelievable, the power difference. This is more power than it had prior to the way it was with the old turbo before any of this. It is just pure magic. Now, did the intercooler. As you can see, it's all done. The turbo, it's done. CT20 right there. Does it look a little extreme? Yeah, but it's okay. Next we'll be cutting this hood right here, putting the Fortuner hood scoop in, just the way they're doing now. We're sourcing one right at the moment, and it'll force air just like they're doing right now on a lot of the current Toyota models. Now, of course, you're probably thinking, well, how do we know it's really more powerful? Well, you'll just have to take my word for it. I'm not going to go out here in my local community and drive like a freaking idiot so I can post a dang YouTube video. Well, that's just not going to happen. Take my word. It was a success. That intercooler is a success. It's hard to believe by cooling the air down that you'll make more power, but it's the truth, or they wouldn't be putting intercoolers on all those sport cars out there everywhere. Big heavy trucks, Ford Super Duties, all these vehicles with intercoolers galore everywhere. Toyota missed the boat on that. They should have done it from day one, but it's nothing that couldn't have been accomplished as I did. Here it is, and it is great. Now, I will give you a piece of advice of something to look out for if you're changing your turbocharger on one of these. When our turbocharger got pulled off, it turns out the oil tube, the return tube down the bottom going back to the pan, had a crack in it, and it was also leaking oil and dripping down on the frame right there. So I got it repaired. I didn't even know about it. Jojo told me about it. He caught it and they got it all brazed up, and he did a really great job. I'm hoping maybe I can get him to shoot over a picture he took of that work and share that to you. But just watch out, inspect those parts. Don't just slap that turbo on. Look and inspect that stuff as they did, and make sure that there is not any fractures or cracks in that piece, because some reason that's stressed, and I don't believe that mine's just an isolated incident. I might do a little research on that to see if others have had that to happen. You tell me if you've had to happen. But that return tube that returns the oil back to the pan had a crack in it up there by the turbo, a little split, and it was weeping oil out. So those are something else, you know, another little thing that you can look for right there to make sure that your project goes well and that you're not pulling that thing right back off of there to deal with crazy little items like that. If I could have sourced and bought a brand new tube, I probably would have. But I'm in an island nation far out here in the Pacific that, as I've said before, most of these were shipped in here from Japan secondhand. There was not a part supply line readily set up available for them. What does it sound like running? It sounds like a diesel truck. That's what it sounds like running. Are you wanting to hear a turbo spool up and scream like the motor's about to blow and me just rev it like crazy at an idle here? Not gonna catch that on my video, because I know the dangers of free revving an engine like that. Once again, take my word for it. What other projects are coming up? Well, I talked to old Jojo over at Joe's Off-Road, and him and I are going to get together and design a tube type side rail down through here, which will protect the side body and give me a nice step, Melinda a nice step stepping in on this vehicle all the time. That's one project. Another project is straight exhaust. I want to increase the exhaust size just a little bit and remove some of the things like that resonator that's underneath there, and get my pipe down where it should be. probably not going to bring it straight out the back. I'll probably bring it out over to one side. Another thing is in my garage, which is no big deal. It's a simple project. It's bolting on my rear sliding receiver hitch so I can pull that boat sitting right over there. The same time I do that, I'm going to get with Joe about us looking and sourcing some gas shocks for the rear. I don't know if I'm going to put coilovers to get that extra capacity on the tongue weight of having that boat on the back here, or if I'm going to put some type of gas shock. That is something that I need to discuss with him, and I'll take any of your advice. You tell me out there. Man, I'm posting this for some feedback as well. I'm not trying to just educate, I'm trying to learn. Tell me, you guys out there that's already done this, man, throw it out. Spit those words out. Write me something back. Tell me, what can I put on the rear back here in place of these standard shocks? I've got extra extended shocks now for the lift. But what, coilovers or a type of gas shock? Is there an adjustable gas shock? You tell me. I ain't listening to your advice, and I'm listening to JoJo's advice, and then I'll make a decision. Help me out on that. Tube roof rack. That's another thing I want. I want the large rack on top up here. There's times that we travel and we have extra people with us, or things that we want to throw gear on top up there. It's common in this country. Watch every jeepney goes by, loaded down with people on the rooftop loaded up. Well, this is an off-road vehicle, and this is a traveling across the Philippines vehicle. Roof rack. That's another project coming up. One more thing that I'm wanting to get is the one-piece rubber mat, the molded mat, instead of the carpet, to go all the way here in the front and into the passenger area back here to the back. Now the cargo area in the rear, it doesn't matter. It can just be whatever. I can get one of those rubber mats that go back there that has the lip around it that'll hold stuff in and liquid if it leaks. So that's an easy thing to get. Now I've been looking online already and back in the US and different places, and I really haven't found a full rubber for a Hilux, but I have found them for some of the, I say Hilux Surf, but I have found them for the Hilux pickups and some of the pickups back in the US that were the similar body style. I think I can use one of those. Once again, I'm asking your opinions out there of anybody that's already had experience with it. Tell me. I'll probably have to buy that and bring it with me back over here to the Philippines. I want it where I can just sweep all this sand and dirt right out. No vacuum needed. Get in with wet feet. All these things, I can keep it clean. I'm not a fan of the carpet. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. It looks like it may try to rain here in just a few minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and get on in. I really wanted to take time and appreciate all of you that have been subscribing and taking time to watch these videos. You know I cover several different topics. I cover my truck and my hobby with it, which is not just for my truck, it's about getting things done in the Philippines. I cover my boat, more than one of them, two different styles, the native style and the fiberglass boat, because once again, people may learn from it. People overseas that don't understand the life here, the people here that don't understand about the fiberglass boats and stuff like that. It's a learning process. That's what I'm out here for. I cover a house building. It's going on right now. In fact, my architect came today. I'll be sharing that. We've got the design down. We're just finishing up the engineering on the plumbing and the electrical. We'll get all the stamps and approvals from the engineers on that, and that will be a big upcoming project. We've already kind of laid the base for it. We've already built the garage that's going to be in under the house. This house is going to be what you guess call like a stilt home. Being I'm right here at the beach, it's going to be up and open underneath. So I'm going to have a lot of videos going on coming up during this year from start to finish on that house building project. And that's something that we are really excited about. It's not going to be too big and it's not going to be too small. It's going to be a cozy home but it's going to be built up to where the first floor is actually on the second level and all open underneath with round columns. So I really look forward to sharing that and hope that you all can learn from that. And then we do a little traveling as well. We pop up to these new places that keep getting built here in the Philippines as we watch this country grow and change and clean up and become this shining gem that it used to be years ago. A lot of people don't realize that Manila was once one of the richest cities on earth. That Manila was called the Pearl of the Orient, and there is a reason why. A major trading hub and very wealthy prior to the Japanese attacking it. It's been through a long, hard process, and it is emerging out of it. It's paid its dues and hardships, and it's its time again to rise up, and I see it happening. I hope it continues and it doesn't stop. Meanwhile, thank you again. Share, like, subscribe, keep following me, and I thank you so much.